Welcome to the Hire Yourself Podcast. My name is Pete Gilfill, and I'm here with my producer, Sean Smith, and we're all about helping people become better business people or just become business people. Good morning, Sean.
Good morning, Pete.
Sean, now I know this is your favorite time of the year, right? This is opening of this baseball season.
Yeah,
so did you go to the game yesterday?
I did not. The puppy and I watched it from home.
What are you talking about? So you always go to the opener. And so you got a puppy?
Yeah. And she's attacking me right now, but yeah.
I thought I tried to tell you not to get a dog. What are you doing?
I know. Well, I've always wanted a puppy, and now I have one. And,
all right. And a lot of sleepless nights, I take it?
We wake up several times per night to let her out. Has razor sharp teeth, and
yeah, absolutely.
Vet visit. It's been great.
Oh yes. You're going to burn money. So they're wonderful. But I've told you about my dog, and you could have just had my dog if you would have just asked. So
I'll just bring mine to you.
Nah, that's okay. We're all good with that. So my wife keeps threatening that we're going to get another puppy. And I'm like, are you kidding me? It's one luxury dog is enough for us. So excellent. Well, I'm super excited today, Sean. We have a very special guest, a franchising expert of 15 years. So I am pleased to introduce Todd Bingham. He's with Stellar Brands. Welcome, Todd.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Sean, for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you here. So we've known each other for years, and I know you're part of Stellar Brands, and that's kind of something that's new, right? In the last couple of years, Stellar Brands was put together by Gary Finley. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, in April of 2020. So the first part of 2020.
In the middle of the pandemic, you did it?
We did. Yep. Like crazy people, we did.
Timing's everything, right? So,
right.
So Stellar Brands, let's first, we got to talk about your CEO, right? He's famous. You work for a famous guy, right? So he was on Undercover Boss just recently, was he not?
He was, yeah. Just a few weeks ago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it's amazing what a little bit of makeup and costume can do, how they can transform somebody.
Yep. And I told him, I don't know if he looked better or worse. And I don't know if that's a compliment or what with him.
All right. Well, and he did great because, there really wasn't any controversy. A lot of times when that show goes, they find something, but it was pretty clean. I mean, they really couldn't, get anything on him. And I thought that was a great endorsement for one of the Stellar Brands, Restoration One. So that was very cool. And then Gary has also launched a book. Is that right?
He has, yeah, the Redneck CEO. As a matter of fact, I have it right here, Pete.
That's your Bible, right? So yeah, all right.
It is.
Yeah, and that's totally Gary. Gary, he's just a great guy from the standpoint and such great experience in franchising. So you have been with Gary for a long time, is that right? How long have you been with Gary?
Yeah, so I've known Gary for probably 15 years and joined the team almost 5 years ago.
Okay. All right. So you've had a good run. So when we talk about Stellar Brands, you started it in 2021, right?
2020.
And so 2020, excuse me.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. And bottom line is that you have multiple franchise concepts under the Stellar Brands, right? Tell me what brands you guys have under Stellar Brands.
We have, obviously, we talked about Restoration One, which is where Gary was on Undercover Boss with. That was the brand that he was on the episode with. We have a company called Blue Frog Plumbing and Drain, another company called The Driveway Company. And our newest addition, our baby of the bunch, is a company called Soft Rock, which is a rubber safety surfacing concept.
Okay. So Restoration One is the one that's the oldest, right? How many franchisees do you have with Restoration One?
Approaching 300 now.
Wow.
With, well over 300 locations out there across the country. A few of those franchisees have multiple locations.
Yeah, I've placed multiple people in Restoration One. They love it.
Yeah,
it's just it's a great need-based business. I think you guys have done a nice job of finding your niche there. And then Blue Frog Plumbing. How many franchisees do you have with them?
A little over 20 now. We took a step back with that brand, got the right people in place, and have grown that brand over the past year or so now.
Oh, that's awesome. So you're making some good traction. And then the Driveway Company, that's a very unique franchise concept.
It is. And we actually launched that one at the very end of 2019, first part of 2020, right during the pandemic. Our first franchisees, first couple of months was right during the midst of everything, going crazy in the world in that first quarter of 2020. It is a unique concept. Nobody really does all the services that we do.
What do you guys do with the driveway company? What services do you provide?
So the short answer is concrete repair and maintenance. But the long answer is, and I won't make it too long, but we can fix, repair, or resurface anything dealing with concrete. That's walkways, driveways, patios, pool decks, entertainment areas out back, sidewalks along the street, things like that.
Yeah, so like if my neighbor, we have salt here and it gets on his driveway and it's pitting out, can you guys with the driveway company repair that for him?
So if it's got that spalling or that what you call pitting out, that's very difficult. Now we can resurface that over top with a couple of different of our products, and we can fix that problem. Yes.
Wow, holy cow! Now the last franchise concept that is really cool, Soft Rock. Tell me a little bit about Soft Rock.
Yeah, it is. I mean, so the rubber safety surfacing or rubber surfacing, I guess, in the kind of the short term there was created over in Europe, and I think specifically in France back in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. And it was brought to the North America, specifically Canada, in the early 80s. And this was largely in factory floor. So it made, a nice cushiony surface for those employees that had to stand all day long. And a lot of other gym floors, things like that, made a lot of commercial applications. And we, specifically Stellar Brands, actually acquired the Soft Rock brand and are now bringing that, what has largely been a commercial application over the years, now to residential. And that hadn't been done before.
So how does it translate from a residential? Am I doing my pool deck? What am I doing with the Soft Rock?
You're doing a pool deck. We can do driveways too. So it's a very decorative component. So the Soft Rock has lots of different colors, designs. We can actually put logos in there. The company went down and last summer and we did the Toronto Blue Jays spring training facility in the Tampa St. Pete area, all of the inside with a Toronto Blue Jays logo all over. Of it there. And so, we can do decorative. We can also do what a lot of people are not, don't really realize is we do a lot of animal care facilities and say horse trailers or those trailers that transport animals, because it creates a non-slip surface for those animals while they're being transported. And we can do boat decks as well. Again, sometimes a slippery surface with water, we create a slip resistant surface on the bottom of those boats. So lots of different applications we can do with this brand.
Well, let me ask you this. So my neighbor, we talked about pitting cement driveway. Can you put the Soft Rock over that? And would that work?
You can actually lay the rubber surfacing material. You can lay it over top of any substrate, as long as it's got a solid foundation. It can't be something that's really moving, or losing the support underneath. But we can go right over top of concrete, asphalt, lots of different substrates. We can just lay it right down over, because you just trowel it smooth, and it fills in where it needs to go, low points and high points.
Wow. So like I've got a brick paver driveway that's kind of separating and stuff like that. Can I put it over my brick paver driveway?
You sure can. Yep. That's a solid foundation, and we can just lay it right over top. And since it's rubber and it has a resin that mixes in with it that binds that rubber together, it flexes and it moves. So it will flex with the ground. The ground's always moving underneath us. And so it will flex with that ground and move to an extent, obviously. But we can lay that right over top of most any kind of surface or substrate, as we like to call it, in the business.
Okay. So I got it. Sounds like you guys have some great brands. So let me ask you, your role within Stellar Brands is what? What do you do?
Vice President of Franchise Development.
So you're helping find great franchisees to place in these awesome brands.
That's right. Yep. We work with consultants like yourself and work with those candidates and help educate them on the brand and take them through the process, let them make an informed decision.
Yeah, and I know you guys have a great process of helping people decide if it's the right brand for them or not. Mm-hmm. So one question I have for you is, what are you looking for in terms of franchisees? So as you think about the type of candidates you want or people to become owners of your franchise brands, what are you looking for?
That is a really good question. A lot of people ask that, either candidates or consultants, or even my family members have asked that. What kind of people are you looking for to be franchisees within your system? And we've kind of evolved that over time, and we want people that want to join the brand and our company and be a part of our company, be a part of something like you saw on the Undercover Boss episode, a really close knit organization. And Gary really represents that at the head of our organization. So we want somebody that wants to be a part of that, wants to be a part of a system as well. I think that's really important, that we understand that they want to be a part of a system, a franchise system specifically.
So they got to fit into the culture. And number two is that they've got to be able to really follow the system, because you guys have made it very easy. Starting a business is hard work, but you've made it step by step. It's easy for you to kind of follow the process. And if they're willing to do that, they got a pretty good chance of being successful.
That's exactly right. That's exactly the way we communicate that to candidates and to and even franchisees. As a candidate becomes a franchisee, is exactly what you just said. We don't guarantee any success. Business ownership is hard, and any business that you own, doesn't matter what it is. But if you follow the playbook, which we've set forth for you, you have a much better chance of being successful.
And what characteristics do you look for in a business owner, right? So if somebody's going to be a business owner, like good with sales or good managing people, what characteristics do you look for in terms of a candidate?
Yeah, and that's another really good. And a lot of candidates ask us that question too. What do I need to be successful, or what do your successful traits that your successful franchisees have? There's a couple of traits that they have within our system, and one is following that playbook. I mean, you're joining a franchise for a reason, to have a little bit of a running start into business ownership, and so follow the playbook. Don't be scared. You got to believe in the system as well. If you don't believe, that comes across in your communication with your customers and things like that. So you got to believe in the system, and specifically with service businesses and restoration is a good example. And even the driveway company and Sock Truck's another good example of employees, managing those employees, creating a culture within your organization, because you do own your own business and you have your own organization. It's creating a culture where people want to be a part of it. And that does take some skill. That is a learned behavior. So you can learn to do that with different techniques and things like that.
And do you teach the franchisees those skills? I mean, I can come in with the base, but you teach us how, you teach the franchisees how to do that.
Yeah, that's part of what our franchise consultants or field consultants do, is helping them create a culture. Now, ultimately, it comes down to that business owner themselves, or that franchisee specifically, and what kind of culture and how extensive they want to create their culture to be an inclusive or a fun culture, whatever they want to create. But yeah, we do have some techniques and share some ideas, and also introduce them to franchisees that do a good job of that. I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of help them be successful. They got to bring to the table some leadership skills, a little bit of acumen, but if they follow the system and are willing to learn, they're in a good position. As we talk about you're looking for franchisees, we're starting now to see interest rates are creeping up, warnings that we may be heading towards a recession. Where do you see this kind of going? I mean, are you starting to see people are concerned? I don't know if I want to invest in a franchise. We might be going through a recession, or interest rates are going up. Where do you see this going?
And I know that's a concern, and specifically, it's a concern for somebody like myself. We sold our house a month ago, and the real estate market's so hot, and people are trying to beat what you just said, the rush of interest rates rising. So for somebody like myself, that's a concern. But in our businesses, which are largely considered, at least Restoration One and Blue Frog, essential businesses, interest rates and the economy, the effects of the economy really doesn't affect us, because when you think about plumbing, you think about restoration, disasters happen, and they seem to be happening even more frequently now, and we hear about them all the time. Aging infrastructure in this country leads itself to things breaking, for the lack of a better term, pipes busting, there's freezes, the tropical storm, the winter storm Uri down in Texas, the largest single insurance event in the country, or in the state of Texas at that time. And, so it doesn't matter what's going on in the economy. It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic, but houses are going to flood, fires are going to happen, pipes are going to bust, which leads to flooding houses, which leads to restoration companies needing to come in. So our businesses are essential businesses, at least those two are. It really doesn't have an effect. Rising interest rates doesn't have an effect on us. The other two brands, Driveway Company and Soft Rock, more of a needs-based business. Just because somebody really wants that. But with people staying home more, working from home more, they're actually seeing and visualizing things more often, that they want to fix. And in our business, both of those businesses has really grown, had a hugely upward trajectory throughout 2020 and 2021. There's probably, at least in my 44 years alive, the most difficult time I've seen.
Yeah. And when you think about like the Driveway Company and Soft Rock, if you don't maintain your concrete, right, you really are depreciating the value of it because you're going to have to replace it. So you guys can come in and help repair it so that I don't have to get a whole new driveway. I can leverage your different applications to try to preserve it, to protect it. And I think that's great. And that I look at that as a need, right? I need to take care of my driveway or I'm going to be shelling out, $20,000 to put a new one in. And that sounds terrible to me.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I totally agree. And that starts right when it's poured too, right? When you buy a new house and the concrete's freshly poured, the prevention of those issues start there, actually.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So I always like to learn from people. And so what is the best advice somebody has ever given you?
So, and I can't remember who this is, Pete, so I will preface that by saying that. I can't remember who told me this, but it really actually had a profound effect on me, is that always assume good intentions. And I think it's really important to assume good intentions when you're dealing with franchisees, because as we know, in 2020, 2021, tough times, and there was a lot of uncertainty in 2020. When franchisees, it's maybe they hit rough spots, especially financially, because that does happen occasionally in business ownership. When they call you, sometimes they're just looking to talk. They want to vent, and their communication to us might not always be nice and friendly at that particular point. But you have to assume good intentions when you're dealing with franchisees, because they want to fix it. They want to be successful. I firmly believe nobody buys a business or starts a business, buys a franchise that doesn't want to be successful. I believe that. And so, it's our job to assume that they want to fix it and they want help, and it's our job to help them.
Yeah. And I think that's just a good quote, always assume good intentions just in life, right? I mean,
I think
so many
too.
people are angry right now, right? Mm-hmm. And, they're angry at that server because it's taken too long at the restaurant. And we've just kind of decided to, at least for me and my wife, is that we're just trying to be understanding, whether it's in a store, a restaurant, on a plane. It's just everybody's trying to do their very best. And I think to your point, it is well taken. Yep. I love books. Do you have a favorite book?
Well, I actually do. I have it right here, The Redneck CEO.
You're such a suck up. All right. If you can't have that one, what would be another book? So I already know about that book.
So I really like it. Actually, the one I read again for the second time was the Creating Successful Partnerships. And it deals largely with franchising, and it talks about, being good partners at the franchisor, franchisee level, and just like you said, Pete, and just in general and in life. I think that's a really good one, and it's a really good reminder. The other thing, one of the other ones, and this is kind of two of them, but something that helped me years ago was the 1 Minute Manager Meets the Monkey. It talks about tasks that arrive to you and how you either have to do something with them and not let them sit. I am, and just in general, and my wife would tell you this too, is, something comes to me. Sometimes I may put it off, or I may say, I'll do that later. And sometimes I have to go back and revisit that book. And that, that really helps, is to decide something there, whether you do something or you got to offload that to somebody else. I think that really helps. And especially when you're dealing with franchisees and supporting franchisees, that's a really important message.
Well, it's a classic book from a standpoint, and back to the book on partnerships. I mean, I think one of the reasons why franchises have had more success during the last couple of years of the pandemic is this idea that they've got a business partner, right? Somebody helping them navigate it. And I know you guys did a great job at Stellar Brands helping your franchisees navigate these crazy times. And also with a franchise, you have the other franchisees to lean on, right? So you got people that are in it with you. And so the combination of those two things, I think, really make franchising attractive for somebody that maybe hasn't done it before.
That's 100% true. And within our organization, within Stellar Brands, and this was the present way before it was called Stellar Brands. This is a trait that Gary really and truly, has lived by, and something I've been really impressed with him about over the years, is that we are business partners with our franchisees. We just don't get any part of their sale when they sell the business if they do that,
Yeah.
But our goal is to help drive the top line revenue and the bottom line revenue for our franchisees, and we really, really live that motto within our franchise system. That's really and truly what we do.
Well, and if you have that pure heart of helping them grow, right? I mean, their success is your success, and I think that's a very symbiotic relationship, and I think that's just awesome. So, well, congratulations with everything you guys are accomplishing with Stellar Brands. You got some great franchise concepts. You've got a great leadership team, certainly a great leader, the Redneck CEO.
Yes,
I love Gary a lot, but I'm excited to see where you guys go from here, because I think you're on a platform where you're just going to go straight up. So thank you so much for your time today, and I look forward to our next conversation.
Yep. Thank you, Pete. Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate you having me on, and love the puppy, Sean.
I warned him.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to the Hire Yourself podcast. For more resources, check out our website at hireyourself.com. And remember to subscribe to this podcast to receive each episode. Please leave us a rating, and we'd love to hear your feedback or suggestions for topics.